Hello, welcome to May 2025. My name is Lynette, and I'm reading from the May 2025 Love Exquisite Magazine that you can access for free at loveexquisitellc.com. I'm reading in the For the Love of Relationships section, and I'm reading the article titled Lean In. Lean In. Lean in, y'all. Lean in. Don't lean back. Lean in. So here we go. If I can be honest, a lot of people that you encounter have been hurt in a relationship or have been the person who hurt someone in a relationship. I can attest to the fact that I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been hurt and I've hurt. I've hurt people, not always intentionally, but it happens. So this hurt can cause you to either grow stronger and wiser or make you fearful of giving and receiving love. You could find yourself engaging in meaningless relationships in an effort to safeguard your heart from being hurt again. When you do this, you will later find out that what you are really doing is hurting yourself. So when you think that you're protecting yourself from being loved, or protecting yourself from being hurt, I'll say, then you are really doing yourself a disservice and you're really hurting yourself because everybody deserves to be loved. So remember that. So again, you could find yourself engaging in meaningless relationships in an effort to safeguard your heart from being hurt again. When you do this, you will later find out that what you are really doing is hurting yourself, as well as others who might think that. So when you're engaging in these meaningless relationships, you might be hurting the other person who thinks that they mean something to you and they actually don't. So you don't want to do that either. So if you ever want a meaningful relationship, I encourage you to lean in. What I am referring to when I'm stating lean in is not to be fearful. That's what I mean. When I say lean in, is don't be fearful, of being hurt. Hurt is an inevitable part of life. At some point in life, we're all going to experience hurt. That's just life. That's how life is. So no matter how much you try to avoid being hurt, you can't. You cannot avoid being hurt. Someone somewhere along the way, as long as you live, someone is going to hurt you in some way, shape, or form, whether it's intentional or unintentional. And I'm just saying that I'm being real. So yes, you can protect yourself from harm and danger, but never protect yourself from love. Never protect yourself from love. Love is something that everyone deserves at some point in life. So even when you get hurt, if you live long enough to experience the fullness of life, you will know that you usually end up just fine despite the hurt. You usually end up just fine. So if you meet someone that you like, or if you're currently in a relationship with someone, lean in. Lean in. Give that person the fullness of you. Lean in to get to know the person you are with on a deeper level and give him or her the fair chance to get to know you on a deeper level as well. Don't dwell in the past. Don't live in the past. Don't live in past hurts. I've learned to live in the moments. What my life has taught me thus far is to learn how to live in the moments because you don't always get those moments back. You don't always get some moments back. There was a time when I approached relationships or the possibility of a relationship with caution because of the hurt that I've experienced in my past. I was fearful of being hurt. So I used to have one foot in, one foot out, whatever way, however you treat me it's going to determine the direction in which I go. So I'm already one foot out. So it don't matter. It's easy for me to leave because I already got one foot out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the way that I used to be because I was protecting myself. But in turn, I wind up missing out on a lot of opportunities that could have changed the trajectory of my life in a positive way if I would have leaned in. You know, you think about that. So I'm giving you these jewels that I learned so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So as you read these each month, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you knowledge and wisdom that you can take, tools that you can use in your own life. Now, whatever doesn't apply to you, throw it out. But if it's something that can be beneficial and help you, soak it in, lean into it, lean into it. So, and let it help you along the way, because this is what this is all about, you know. So I used to beat myself up about I shoulda, woulda, couldas, and living in the moment and not living in the moment and being cautious and all of this. And I used to beat myself about it, but I don't anymore. You know, I used to beat myself up about opportunities that I thought I missed, and whoo, y'all only knew some of them opportunities. You'd be like, girl, you crazy, you stupid. But at any rate, life teaches you valuable lessons to then teach someone else. So that's what I'm doing. So lean in. You know, you got somebody, y'all vibing out. Don't be fearful. If they don't give you a reason to lean out, lean in. You know, get to know that person and be comfortable in knowing that everybody is not out to hurt you. I said that in another article, but that's real talk. So all of these things are teachable moments on what to do better next time you meet someone that's worth your time and effort. Lean in. So instead of leading with one foot in, one foot out, I'm now open to leaning in. And I encourage you to do the same. So leaning in will require you to be open about being vulnerable, to open to being vulnerable. You know, a lot of times people are fearful of being vulnerable. Nevertheless, imagine how wonderful things could be if they actually worked out. If things actually worked out, can you imagine how happy you would be? So lean in, because you'll never know unless you do that, unless you take the safe risk. So if you don't lean in, your behavior towards the person that you're with, it'll make him or her feel like you're not interested or you don't like them enough, that you feel guarded. So they might then think that you're just not interested in them and decide to go pursue something else or someone else. So you got to really take the chance, you know, take safe risks. So if you're guarded, you are not giving your best to the relationship. If the person you are with demonstrates by actions, not by words, but by actions, that he or she is worth the risk, lean in. If you don't lean in, you will eventually lose their interest in you to someone else who's not afraid to lean in. So before it's too late, lean in. You usually never regret the safe risks you take. You only regret the safe risk that you did not take but wanted to. I'm going to say that again. You usually never regret safe risk that you take. Key word in there is safe risk. You only regret the safe risk that you didn't take but wanted to. I can tell. How many of y'all can say amen to that one? I know I can. Amen. Because I do, like I said, I do regret there was a time where somebody invited me somewhere and I wanted to go, but I had competing priorities that I had to consider. But that person might have looked at it. I had to say no, even though I wanted to go. You know, I was fearful. They don't even know that they was scared too, but I was scared as well. You know what I mean? Like they say, oh, I'm scared of you. But I'm like, you don't know, I'm petrified of you, you know, haven't known your history anyway, you know, but I've never given off that vibe that they would know that was one of the reasons why I didn't go. I was cautious and I didn't want to give them the wrong impression of the person that I am. You know, I wanted it to genuinely happen and flow so we get to know each other first, and so you get to know me for who I am before you judge me on who you think I am based on what might have happened if I'd have went. It's like, no. But y'all get my point, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all get my point. So that part. I'm gonna stick a pin right there and move right along. So with the right person, he or she, so if you watching this, I'm talking to you. I wanted to go, just so you know, I did. I want to go. I was interested, am interested, all of that, all of the above. But because we were not in a place at that time to get to know each other, which we could have gotten at that point, but it was too many things that I was thinking in my mind that was the reason why we should just wait. It wasn't a never, it was not now. It was more like a not now. Who knew that not now was going to turn into a almost never? But anyway, like I said, I don't beat myself up about it. I just learn from it, and I know what to do better next time. And communicate, because this is a conversation that I could have had with the person in that moment. It's just something that we never got the opportunity to do, which I thought we would, because that was the exchange that we had at that time, that we would have an opportunity, but the opportunity didn't present itself. So that's why I said, you only regret the safe risk you didn't take but wanted to. So when the right person comes along, he or she will make you feel safe enough with them. They'll make you feel safe. So you will be more comfortable with leaning in, and that leaning in will feel so good. It'll feel really good. So live your life and love again without fear. You don't have to be guarded all your life. You deserve love. You deserve to give and receive love. So live your life fulfilled and love again, or you won't be able to lean in. You know what I mean? If you are not, like, if you can't do either, if you can't live a life fulfilled and you can't love again, then you can't lean in. You won't lean in. So the moral of this conversation is, if you're with somebody that you like, or you're in a relationship and you're afraid, don't be afraid of being hurt. Lean in. If you get hurt in the midst of living life to the fullest, it's okay. You will be okay. This too shall pass, but never be afraid to lean in.